If you are someone that struggles in the gym with seeing consistent results, whether that's strength gain, whether that's muscle gain, and you feel like you're hitting your plateaus, this video is gonna be for you. Today, we're gonna be talking about progressive overload. Let's dive into it. So you may be asking, what is progressive overload? So progressive overload is the idea of gradually increasing stress placed on your body during exercise. So the concept of progressive overload is essential for anyone looking to build muscle, gain strength, and improve endurance, right? If those are the three things that you're trying to do, I promise you this video is gonna be extremely helpful, so tune in. Stay tuned because at the end of this video, I'm gonna be giving you 4 weeks of a progressive overload split from a standpoint of sets, reps, and percentages that you need to be focusing on. Progressive overload, right? Why is it important? Well, progressive overload is important for 4 reasons, okay? I really hope you all can read my handwriting, but if you can't, that's fine, I'll talk about it anyway. So the first reason why progressive overload is so important is because of muscle growth, all right? So we're gonna tackle these one thing at a time. So muscle growth is the first thing. One way to ensure that you're getting stronger is by seeing muscle gains on your body, right? So if the stress that you're putting on your body is the same stress that you've been putting on it for months on end, there's a reason why you're not gonna see much muscle growth. And that's the reason why progressive overload is so important when it comes to muscle growth, because it's gonna do that one thing. It's gonna put way more stress on the body. And when you put more stress on the body, muscles break down, and muscles break down, muscles grow. The second thing is going to be strength gains. If you want to get stronger, you have to lift heavier weights. That's as simple as it gets, right? In progressive overload, the way that the structure of progressive overload is, it forces you to lift heavier weights based off of what your 1 rep max is, or a 3 rep max. So if you do not know what a 1 or 3 rep max is, there's some calculations that you can do to figure that out, or if you've done it before in the past, great, use that as a benchmark or something to use. But if you have an idea of what your 1 rep or 3 rep max is, it's gonna be so much easier for you to get strength gains in the gym, because now it's a science thing. When it comes to science, you get precise and it's about percentages. And when it's about percentages, that's when you're gonna force yourself to lift under a heavier stimulus based off of what you've done in the past. The third thing, and this is a very common thing that I see, people hit plateaus. So progressive overload is going to allow you to avoid plateaus. So number 3, and I really hope I spelled this right because I have it all written down. Plateaus, okay? So you're going to avoid plateaus. We hear it, geez. I hear it often, right? I've hit a plateau, I can't seem to get stronger, I'm not seeing any muscle gain. And it's usually because people that hit plateaus have been doing the same style of routine without changing the weight choices that they're doing, without changing the reps that they're doing, the sets that they're doing, and increasing the load that they're doing. So if you are hitting a plateau, there's a reason why you're hitting a plateau. It's probably because you've been doing the same thing over and over and you're just seeing the same results. Yes, you could still be in great shape, but you're not seeing yourself getting any stronger. So progressive overload is another thing that's gonna help you avoid hitting those plateaus. And all this is gonna come full circle when we get to the end of the video, so stay tuned. And the last thing that progressive overload is gonna do, it's going to improve your endurance. Okay, so last but not least, improved endurance. Now, the reason why progressive overload is going to improve endurance is because you're increasing the volume of your workouts. You're increasing the intensity of your workouts. And when you're increasing the volume and intensity of your workouts, now your endurance is also expanding as well, okay? Crazy how that happens, but that's just how it works. So these 4 things right here, right? This is the reason why progressive overload is so important, because who doesn't want muscle growth? I know I do. Who doesn't want strength gains? Who does not want to stop avoiding plateaus, and who does not want to improve endurance? Again, if these are the goals that you have set for yourself, this is the reason why progressive overload is for you. If you don't want these 4 things, don't worry about this video. This isn't for you. This is for the people that want to improve these 4 things that they're hitting. So muscle growth, strength gains, avoiding plateaus, and improved endurance are the four things that you're gonna get if you focus on progressive overload consistently over time. But remember, everything takes time. Just because you start a progressive overload cycle does not mean that within the 4-week time period, you're just gonna see strength gains. No, it takes time. And I'm gonna show you what that looks like at the end of this video. We're getting there, hold on. So with these 4, what you're also going to be executing is a couple things as well. So when you are in progressive overload, you're going to be increasing your weight. You're going to be increasing your reps. You're going to be increasing your sets. You're going to be increasing your frequency. Sometimes, not all the time, you're going to be decreasing your rest. What this also is going to do is that it's going to improve your technique, right? Who doesn't want to get better technique? You can always get better. You want to strive for perfection when you're doing technique, right? And the last thing that you can do in progressive overload is you can add different variations to a movement that's going to be extremely helpful. And when it comes to progressive overload, this is really important for your big lifts, right? For your squats, for your deadlifts, for your bench press, for your overhead press. If you can really focus on progressive overload in those 4 movements, that's gonna be extremely beneficial. You can always focus on progressive overload in your accessory movements and the same principles apply, right? But what I'm gonna give you at the end of the video is gonna be hand in hand with those 4 compound movements, because what I found that is if you can really focus on progressive overload with focusing on getting strong in your 4 compound lifts, you're naturally gonna get stronger in your accessory lifts, right? So like I was saying earlier in the video, it's best to focus on progressive overload if you have an understanding of what your 1 rep max is or your 3 rep max, okay? But for this video, we're gonna talk about 1 rep maxes. I know not everyone really attempts 1 rep maxes when they get past a certain point in life, maybe they're not in athletics anymore, which is fine, right? So what I do want you to do is on one of your compound lifts, whether it's a bench press, a squat, a deadlift, or overhead press, perform a movement that you can for max exertion for 6 reps. That means that when you get to rep 6, you're pretty much fully exhausted, right? So let's take bench press, for example, and come closer to the board because I'm gonna write this thing out and show you how this calculation works so that you can find your 1 rep max. Let's say my bench press for 6 reps is gonna be 150 pounds. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm gonna take that 150, right? And I'm gonna multiply that by 1 plus 0.00333. And I'm gonna multiply that by 6, right? So obviously I'm doing this math first. So then I'm gonna take that 150, multiply that by 1. This right here is going to equal 0.1998, all right? Now I'm gonna hit this math. I'm gonna do 150. I'm gonna multiply that 150 times that by 1.1998, right? Now, the 1 rep max is going to be this equation right here that we get to. So that means my 1 rep max for a bench press would equal 180 pounds, all right? Now, like I said, if you are not testing for a 1 rep max and you do not want to test for a 1 rep max, this is a way to get a ballpark figure. Okay, it's not gonna be perfect, but it's gonna be a ballpark. And if you find that when you're working in progressive overload that this number is not an accurate number, whether it's too heavy or it's too light, adjust it by 5 pounds, right? Experiment with it, figure it out, but this is gonna be a very close estimate to what your 1 rep max is, so make sure that you're using this equation right here to help you out. So now that we made it to the end of the video, I'm going to give you 4 weeks of what progressive overload should look like from a set, repetition, and percentage standpoint. So let's dive in. So if I have my 1 rep max, like we just went over, at 180, right, for the bench. 180 for the bench, like I said, right? Week 1, this is what I'm going to do. So week 1, I am going to do a warm-up set first. Always do a warm-up set. 12 reps, naked barbell, warm-up set, right? After that, I'm going to do 4 sets of 10 reps at 50% of that 1 rep max. So 4 times 10 at 50% 1 rep max. That's gonna be week 1, right? You're gonna perform that for all your compound lifts. So if you bench press that week, that's what you're gonna do. If you deadlift that week, that's what you're gonna do. If you squat that week, you can do that. If you overhead press that week, you're gonna do that as well. Week number 2, you are going to do 1 set. Obviously, do your warm-up set, get warmed up, make sure that you're nice and loose. Then you're gonna do, these are for your working sets, okay? You're gonna do 4 sets of 8 reps, and you're gonna do these 8 reps at 60% of your 1 rep max. As you can see, week 1 and week 2 are very, very different. 10% higher, 2 reps less, meaning that you're gonna put more stress on your body from week 1 to week 2. Now, let's get into week 3. All right, so week 3 is gonna be different. You're gonna do your warm-up set as always. Now, this is gonna be more volume, so you're gonna do 2 sets at 10 reps at 50%. Okay, this is a part of your working sets for this. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna do 4 sets at 6 reps at 70% of your 1 rep max. 1 rep max, okay? So this is going to be week 3 right here, all right? Week 3, as you can see, the volume has gone up because now we're doing 2 sets of 10 reps at 50%, which is what we did week 1, but we're also adding a heavier stimulus than what we did for week 2 because now we're climbing up to 70%, okay? Now, week number 4. And this will be the last week that I'm gonna show up here. You're gonna do your warm-up sets as always, okay? And then we're gonna do 2 sets, 10 reps, 50% of that 1 rep max, all right? Again, these are gonna be your working sets. Now, for this, and week 4 is always my favorite week, man. 5x5s. So if you're a fan of 5x5s, put a fire emoji in the comment section. I ain't playing with y'all. This is my favorite lifting sequence of all time. 5x5, and the 5x5 is gonna be between 75 to 80% of your 1 rep max. Okay, so week 1, 4 sets of 10. Let me do it this way. So week 1, we have 4 sets of 10 at 50% of our 1 rep max. Week 2, we have 4 sets of 8, 60%, 1 rep max. Week 3, we have 6 working sets. So like I said, we're increasing sets, we're increasing weights. This is important. 2 sets of 10 at 50%, 4 sets of 6 at 70%, 1 rep max. And then week 4 is gonna be 2 sets of 10 at 50%, 5x5 at 75 to 80% 1 rep max. Now, when you have an in-between number, always start with the lower. Always start with the 75. Hit 75 for about 2 sets. If you feel strong enough that you can go up to your 80% 1 rep max, that's a good time to do so. Don't just always come out the block and hit 80% starting off, because you'd be surprised at what 5% can actually do from a lifting standpoint when you're in progressive overload. So this is gonna be a 4-week sequence, and I'll put it up, on the side right here, what a 4-week sequence would look like. Now, this is just 4 weeks. Progressive overload, there's levels to it. So I'm giving you the first 4. If you wanna see what the next 5 weeks look like, hit the link in my bio. I have a free progressive overload script for you. It's gonna give you sets, it's gonna give you reps, it's going to give you percentages, and it's also gonna give you all these calculations that I had, how to find your rep max, all these things, because I know this is just jumbled up, but I just had to write on the board because I thought it'd be helpful. So if you want that guide, hit the link in my bio, and you can grab that free guide for yourself. But this is going to be something that's extremely important for someone. Again, if you're looking to gain muscle, if you're looking to gain strength, and you're looking to improve endurance, progressive overload is going to be beneficial for you and your fitness journey. So I hope this video was helpful for you. If it was, please like, comment, and subscribe in the video below, and we will meet next time at the whiteboard. Peace.